Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Road to Worlds Regional Rundown. I'm your host, Daniel Matteson, and we are here for Week 12 of the Star Trek CCG Regional Championship season for 2015, where we are once again running down all the events that took place over the last weekend and looking ahead to events taking place in the coming days. So there was no show last week, and that's because I instead recorded a podcast for Assimilate This, where I did an interview with Michael Moskop talking about Trackmaster Chicago. If you didn't see that, if you didn't listen to that, you can go find it on trekcc.org/podcasts. It should be right on the top because it's the most recent. But anyway, that means that we have 2 weeks to talk about, to recap, weeks 10 and 11. There weren't a whole lot of events in week 11, so it's not that much more difficult to cover. So we're going to have a double show. So let's start with week 10. We are going back to May 30th, where we begin with a series of events in Ohio, in the Kronos region. These are John Paul Vesey's regionals. There were first and second edition. We're going to start with first edition. 4 players for this event, and John Paul Vesey is the winner. John was playing a Klingon deck. Coming in second place was Sean O'Reilly, who was playing Borg, and in third place, Derek Marlar, who was running Ferengi. JP went 3-0, facing all three of the other players in the event and beating them all. This is John's first Onee regional win. John picks up 29 rating points with this event and will get a bye for Gen Con. The 2E event drew 5 players, and this one was won by Sean O'Reilly. Sean was running a board deck for this, Dissident build, I believe. Coming in second place was Ross Fertile, playing Romulan. Ross also picked up the biggest ratings gain of the event with a 57-point gain. And coming in third place, John Paul Vesey, who was running Terok Nor. This is Sean's first 2E regional win in the CC era. He will get to take that bye for 2E to Gen Con. Also, May 30th, we had events in Texas. Grapevine, Texas, to be exact. These are Tyler Fultz's events. We had 2E and Tribbles. Start with the 2E. 6 players for that event, and the winner was Phil Schrader. Congratulations. Phil was running Dominion. Very popular in 2E, winning a lot of regionals this year. Phil, this is his first 2E regional win. He will pick up a bye for John and an 82-point ratings gain for that event. Phil went 4-0, winning all of his matches. Coming in second place was Justin Ford, playing Relativity, and third place, Tyler Fultz with Bajoran. The Tribbles event was also won by Phil Schrader. 7 players in all. Phil will get a head start for Gen Con for the Triples event there. That's actually it for week 10. Like I said, not a whole lot going on in regional events the last couple of weeks, so we're going to move right on into week 11, and these are events that took place on June 7th, just this past weekend. There was a regional event in Vienna, Austria. This is the Borg region. Stefan Slaby was the TD for this event. This is a first edition OTF constructed. 6 players showed up for this event, and the winner was Peter Ludwig, who was running a Federation deck. Second place, Stefan Slaby himself. He was running Hirogen. And third place was Helmuth Auberger. Once again, I will mispronounce European names because that is a thing that I do. Peter Ludwig, as I said, he won this event. He also had the biggest ratings gain of the event, picking up 49 points. He went 4-0, winning all his games. This is Peter's first Onee regional win ever. However, last year he did win British Nationals and European Continentals, so a couple of big wins already under his belt in the last year. Since Peter won British Nationals last year, he already has a bye for European Continentals. So the bye for this event was handed down to Stefan Slavi. So congrats. Also in Europe, June 7th, we had another Onee regional in Stockholm, Sweden, in the Omarian Nebula. The TD for this event was Christopher Wicker. This is a Onee OTF event, 4 players for this event, and the winner was Christopher Wicker. Christopher was running a Bajoran deck. He went 2-1, had a modified loss in there. He lost to the 3rd place finisher, Johan Skaland, who was running Dominion. 2nd place was Marcus Smith, who was playing Federation. He had the biggest ratings gain of the event with 31 points. Christopher Wicker gets the bye for European Continentals. This is his 3rd Onee regional win. So that's it for regionals, but we had another big event over the past weekend, as I mentioned at the beginning. Trackmaster Chicago took place. This was why there was not a lot of regionals this past weekend, and none at all in the United States, because most of the player base went to Chicago and played in this big Masters event. So Michael Moskop was the TD for these events. These took place in Chicago, Illinois. Started with the 2nd edition event on June 6th, which drew 18 players. I believe this is a record for Masters events so far. It's been a lot of, most of them hitting the 16, 17, 18 player mark. So yeah, great turnout there. 18 players. The winner of this event, Nathan Weininger, who was running Romulans. Nathan went 5-0, undefeated. He beat Justin Ford, Jeremy Benedict, Matthew Hayes, Chris Sonstabby, and Mike Harrington. Tough competition. A very hard-fought series of matches. I'm sure Nathan comes out on top. Nathan also picks up 82 ratings points, coming in just a few points shy of 2,000 lifetime. Incredible. 2nd place with a TOS deck was Chris Sonstabby. And incidentally, his rating only went up 32 points, but he also passed the 1900 mark. So pretty big deal for him. Coming in 3rd place with Dominion was Mike Harrington. I'm going to go over the Masters points in just a moment. We're going to move on to Tribbles. Took place on the next morning, on June 7th. 8 players showed up for Tribbles, and the winner was Joshua Sheets. And then finally, 1st edition, OTF constructed, June 7th. 11 players showed up for the Onee Masters event, and the winner, playing a board deck, was Jeremy Huth. Jeremy picked up 86 ratings points. He went 4-0, all full wins. He beat Edward Pigman, Jason Baer, Chris Sonstabby, and John Paul Vesey on his way to a Masters win. Jeremy was the runner-up at Worlds last year, so came very close to winning a very big title, but he picked up a big championship win this past weekend. Coming in 2nd place with a Romulan deck, once again, Chris Sonstabby. And in 3rd place, running Kazan Battle, Justin Ford. So, another Masters event in the books. How does this look as far as Masters points? So, as you may know, every Masters event you participate in earns you points for that specific game, and if you reach 60 Masters points or more in 2015, then you get a first round bye into both Continentals and Worlds. I guess and or depending on which ones you actually go to. But yeah, you have them for both Continentals and Worlds in 2016. So, looking quickly at first looking at the triples rankings, Justin Ford was already past the 60-point mark. He picked that up in Orlando. So playing in Chicago did not do anything for that. He was already at the threshold, so he will have those head starts for Continentals and Worlds in 2016. Nobody new was added on to the list for triples. In first edition, once again, Justin Ford. Justin Ford just crosses the threshold. He's now at 68 Masters points, and he becomes the first to earn those 2 buys for Onee. Over on the second edition side, there were 2 players that were at the 60-point threshold after Orlando. Justin Ford had gotten there, and John Corbett. Now, John Paul Vesey and Joshua Sheets have also made that threshold. So that is 4 players that will earn those Continentals and Worlds buys next year for 2E on account of being great players and great travelers. All right, that is it for events that took place in the last 2 weeks. What is coming up this weekend? Just 2 events, not a whole lot to talk about, but a couple of events here. June 14th in Hamburg, Germany, we have a 2nd edition event. This is the Vandross 4 region. The tournament director is Holger Janusz. I'm probably getting that wrong. At the time that I checked, only 2 players were pre-registered, one of which, Tobias Rausman, who I've talked about on this show many times, and is probably a favorite to win. Also taking place on the 14th in Koblenz, Germany, there is a Tribbles regional, and it looks like it's a makeup event from last month. Tjark Ott is the tournament director, and so far 3 are pre-registered at the time that I did my research. So that may have changed. Of course, more players might turn up or pre-register that I don't know about. But hopefully both of those events go off, and we will be able to talk about them next week. So that is the Week 12 preview. There is just a couple more weeks left in the regional season. We are almost through. And soon we will have to start talking about Continental Championships, and then, of course, Worlds eventually. So, plugs. I have some. Start with the Palm Bay, Florida First Edition Regional Event, June 27th at 4 p.m. If you're going to be in the Central Florida area in a couple of weeks, you're going to want to hit this 1E Regional, because it's mine. Also, I want to plug Return to Farpoint. It's back. Starting in July. July 13th, I believe, will be the first Return to Farpoint online tournament. That's going to be Premier-only constructed. That is a very big deal. We had, I think, 28 players last year when we ran this event. So it's like 24 or 26. I think it was 28, but I could be wrong. It was a lot of players. So easily the most popular of the Farpoint events. So you're not going to want to miss that. Get Skype, get Lackey, give it a try. And I think that's it. So next week, slow week, not a lot of regionals going on. We might not do another rundown. We might wait and do a double-sized show in 2 weeks. We'll see. But maybe I'll make it up to you. Maybe I can get another episode of Assimilate This in the can. I'll keep you posted. I'm getting somebody lined up, so we'll see what happens there. In the meantime, uh, yeah, we'll see you next time. This is Daniel Matteson for the Road to World's Regional Rundown, ending transmission.